Good morning, students. So, after completion of the chapter Chemical Equilibrium, today we will start the new chapter Ionic Equilibrium. But this Ionic Equilibrium chapter is also related to the chemical equilibrium. We can say that it is an extension of the chemical equilibrium. So, in this chapter we are going to discuss about the electrolytes, their ionization, Ostwald's dilution law, its application, then theories of acids and bases, how can we explain the behavior of acid and base. Then after we will discuss about the ionic product of water, and from that we will find out the pH of a particular solution, whether acidic or alkaline. Then after we will discuss about the solubility product of water, okay, or solubility product of a solution. Then we will discuss about buffer solution and application of common ion effect and solubility product, okay. And finally we will discuss about hydrolysis of salt. So these are the various topics that we are going to discuss in this chapter, okay. So let us start the one by one. First of all, we will discuss about electrolyte, its ionization and Ostwald's dilution law, okay. Let's see electrolyte. Electrolyte. What is an electrolyte? Actually, basing on the conduct of electric current, a substance can be considered, okay, as a conductor or it can be a non-conductor, okay. So, substances on the basis of flow of electric current, what your conductor and non-conductor. Now, conductor is one through which electric current can pass, okay, which can conduct electricity and which cannot conduct electricity is a non-conductor, right. Now, which can conduct electricity, this one again can be what two kind. It can be a metallic conductor or it can be an electrolyte. So, metallic conductor are those through which electric current can pass in their solid state, like copper, aluminum, okay. And electrolytes are those through which electric current can pass in their aqueous solution or in their fused state or molten state, okay. For example, NaCl. NaCl cannot conduct electricity in its solid state, but when NaCl is put into aqueous solution or NaCl is melted, then through it electric current can pass. So, aqueous solution of NaCl is an electrolyte or molten state of NaCl is an electrolyte. So, electrolytes are those substances through which electric current can pass in their molten state or in their aqueous solution. That means when these kind of substances put into aqueous solutions, they are converted into ions. Either they contain ions or they furnish ion when dissolved in water or when melted. Okay. So, and this is what your non-conductor are those substances which cannot conduct electricity, which can't conduct electricity. And this can be also what, again after two types, you can say what, you can say the non-metals and what are the non-electrolytes. Okay, so those substances through which electron cannot pass in their solid state are the non-metals, and those through which the electron cannot pass in their molten state or in their aqueous solutions are called the non-electrolytes. Like you can say sugar, you can say benzene, you can say urea. So sugar, benzene, urea are the non-electrolytes. If you take their aqueous solution or if you put them into molten state, through them electron cannot pass. But if I take NaCl, okay, Ca3COH, okay, or HNO3, NaOH, NH4OH. Okay, so these are the kind of substances. So if you put them into NaCl, Ca3COH, okay, or you can say the NH4OH, okay, HNO3. So these are the kind of substances if you put them into their aqueous solutions or if you take their molten state, then through them electric current can pass. So these are called what, electrolyte. Okay, so we can say electrolytes are the substances through which electric current can pass in their molten state or in their aqueous solution, and non-electrolytes are those through which electric current cannot pass in their aqueous solutions or in their molten state. Okay, electrolytes can be your salts, can be your acids, can be your bases. Salts like your NaCl, okay, so acids like your Ca3COH, HCl, HNO3, okay, bases like NH4OH, NaOH, all are the electrolytes, okay, and substances like your sugar, benzene, urea are the non-electrolytes, okay. Now, these electrolytes can be further classified into what, strong and weak electrolyte. Okay. So already I have told you that electrolytes are splitting into ions. Either they furnish ion or they contain ions, and these ions are responsible for the conduct of electric current. Okay. So the electrolytes can be what, can be either your strong electrolyte or can be what, weak electrolyte. So what are the strong electrolytes? Those electrolytes which completely dissociate into ions. Okay, so completely dissociate into ions are called the strong electrolytes, and weak, those which do not undergo complete ionization okay. So we have substances like mineral acids, strong acids like mineral acids such as HCl, HNO3, okay, and strong bases like NaOH. These are the strong electrolytes, okay, like what HCl, HNO3, NaCl, NaOH are the strong electrolytes. Whereas organic acids like acetic acid and bases like ammonium hydroxide are the weak bases and acids, and these are considered as your weak electrolytes. Okay. So if I take your CH3, COOH, NH4OH, okay, these are called what, weak electrolytes. Okay. So how can you determine whether a particular electrolyte is weak or strong? That can be determined by determining the strength of the electrolyte. Okay. So that means the strength of the acid or base will determine whether the electrolyte is a strong one or a weak one. Okay. So we can say strength of electrolyte equal to what, your total molecules splits up into ions divided by, or you can say number of molecules splits up into ions divided by total number of molecules taken, total number of molecules taken. Okay. So the strength of the electrolyte can be determined by what, by taking the number of molecules splits up into ions divided by total number of molecules taken. So if we consider the case of strong electrolyte, because strong electrolytes are those which undergo complete ionization. That means here the number of molecules splits up into ions divided by total number of molecules taken will be equal to 1. This you can say is what, you can say your alpha. So alpha is equal to what? 1. For what? For strong electrolytes. Alpha equal to 1 or nearly equal to 1 for the strong electrolyte. Whereas in case of weak electrolyte, the number of molecules splitting up into ions, okay, must be less than the total number of molecules taken. So here alpha is what, less than 1 for what? For the weak electrolytes. Okay. So those electrolytes for which the alpha degree of dissociation is equal to 1, that is what, or nearly equal to 1, that is what, the strong electrolytes. Whereas those electrolytes for which the degree of dissociation alpha is less than 1, okay, is called weak electrolytes. Also we have very weak electrolytes where the alpha is very less than 1. Okay. Now regarding this your dissociation of the electrolytes, so we have a law called the Ostwald's dilution law. Okay. And from this the concept of the ionic equilibrium will come into play. Okay. See here, if I take suppose if I take HCl, it's a strong electrolyte. It's a what? It's a strong electrolyte. So we can write what, H plus Cl minus. If I take your plus aqueous means your water, so H plus aqueous to Cl minus aqueous. So here HCl is a strong electrolyte, so it undergo complete ionization, and here we are putting a single arrow to represent the ionization. Okay. Whereas if I take your CH3COOH. Acetic acid, it's a what? It's a weak electrolyte. It's a weak electrolyte. So what I can add here? I can add CH3COO minus plus H plus. I can put a double arrow here. Okay. So these are the ions. So here in this case the HCl is a completely ionizing. Okay. That means the number of ions divided by the total number of molecules taken is equal to 1. But here in this case you will see all the molecules which whatever we have taken are not completely ionizing. Okay, few of them is ionizing and few of them remaining undissociated. Okay, so here what happens? The number of ions formed divided by total number of molecules taken will be less than 1. So because here the ions are ions formed, and also there are some undissociated molecules. So the ions formed and the undissociated molecules will be in a state of equilibrium. That will be called what? Ionic equilibrium. Okay. So in this case here you see, so CH3COO with the acetic acid is a weak electrolyte I have taken. So out of this some molecules are splitting up into ions. Okay, and some will remain undissociated. Okay, now the ions formed from the electrolyte and the undissociated electrolyte molecules will be in a state of equilibrium, and that will be called what? Ionic equilibrium. Okay, and regarding this ionization of the electrolytes, now we will have a law called what? Ostwald's dilution law. Okay, let us discuss about this Ostwald's dilution law. Okay, Ostwald's dilution law. So let's see Ostwald's dilution law. Okay, so first of all consider a weak electrolyte AB. That AB is a weak electrolyte whose degree of dissociation is very small. Okay. Now later the initial concentration of AB is C moles per liter. And later alpha is the degree of dissociation at equilibrium. Okay, so see AB is the weak electrolyte. Okay, and because it is a weak electrolyte, it will dissociate into ions A plus and B minus. But this AB cannot undergo complete ionization. Along with the ions also we will have some undissociated electrolyte molecules, and these ions and the undissociated molecules will be in equilibrium, called your ionic equilibrium. So we will have a reversible symbol here. Okay, AB gives A plus plus B minus. So initially when T is equal to 0, suppose C mole per liter of AB is present there. At that time the A plus is your 0 and B minus is what? 0. And here alpha is the degree of dissociation at equilibrium. That means suppose alpha is 30%. That means when 30% of AB dissociated, then equilibrium is attained. Okay, so 30% of what? 30% of the initial concentration. Whatever AB we have taken, how much we have taken? We have taken C mole per liter. Okay, so out of the C mole per liter, when alpha percentage dissociated, then equilibrium is attained. So what I can write at equilibrium, C of AB was initially there into alpha. C of AB was initially there into alpha dissociated. So C alpha dissociated. So what will the remaining of AB? C was initially C was there and C alpha dissociated. So C minus C alpha will be remain at equilibrium. So if C alpha of AB will dissociate, then also C alpha of A plus and C alpha of B minus will form from the stoichiometric of the equation. Here you see 1 mole of AB dissociate to give 1 mole of A plus and 1 mole of B minus. Now because C alpha of AB dissociated, so I will get what? C alpha of A plus and C alpha of B minus. Okay, so C alpha of AB dissociated, C alpha of A plus is formed and C alpha of B minus is formed. Okay, is that clear? Again I am repeating. C mole per liter of AB was there initially. Okay, alpha percentage dissociated, so C into alpha dissociated. Okay, and so remaining will be what? C minus C alpha. Now whatever amount of AB will dissociate, same amount of A plus and B minus will form. And because C alpha of AB dissociated here, so C alpha of A plus and C alpha of B minus will form here. Okay, so now applying the law of chemical equilibrium. Applying law of chemical equilibrium. Already we know the law of chemical equilibrium. So here what will happen? K, okay, is equal to, you can say, or Ki I can say, A plus product of the concentration of the product into concentration of the all the products divided by concentration of what reactants. So applying the law of chemical equilibrium, Ion's constant Ki I can write value A plus concentration of the products formed to that of reactant is a constant. Okay, here A plus and B minus are the products formed, so there is concentration A plus and B minus, there is product, so A plus into B minus divided by concentration of the reactant AB. Okay. So what I can add here? Ki is equal to A plus, how much is A plus? C alpha. B minus, how much is B minus? C alpha. Divided by your C minus C alpha. Or this is equal to what? Your alpha square C square by C into 1 minus alpha. So cancel C cancel, or Ki is equal to alpha square C by 1 minus alpha. Okay, but I have taken the AB is a very weak electrolyte, so alpha is very small, so 1 minus alpha I can take as 1. Okay, so for weak electrolyte 1 minus alpha equal what? 1. Alpha is very small. So or minus alpha equal 1. What I can write? Ki, or I can say K equal what? Alpha square C. Okay. What is simple as alpha square equal to K by C. Therefore alpha equal to root over K by C. Alpha equal to root over K by C. Right here 1 minus alpha is equal to 1. Therefore, okay, K is equal to alpha square C. K I can take as K also. Ionization constant. K equal alpha square C. Therefore, alpha equal to what? Alpha square equal to what? You know, K by C. So alpha equal to what? You know, root over K by C. Okay. That means see the degree of dissociation. See alpha is what? You know, degree of dissociation. C is what? Molar concentration. Okay, so K is constant. So what I can add? This implies I can also add what? Alpha proportional to root over 1 by C. Because alpha is because K is constant. So what I can say? What I can say? Section 1. What I can say? The degree of dissociation of a weak electrolyte is inversely proportional to the square root of its molar concentration. See the molar concentration here, alpha is the degree of dissociation. So what I can say? Alpha proportional to root over 1 by C. That means see the degree of dissociation of a weak electrolyte is inversely proportional to the square root of its molar concentration. This is called what? Ostwald's dilation law. Here also we know C equal what? N by V. That means what? Molar concentration is equal to number of moles by your volume. So if N equal to 1 mole, if N equal to 1 mole, then C equal what? 1 by V. Or simply see V equal what? 1 by C. Therefore, so here you can put alpha proportional to square root of 1 by C equal what? V. So what I can add? Alpha proportional to root over V. So also you can say the Ostwald dilation law that the degree of dissociation of a weak electrolyte is directly proportional to the square root of the volume if 1 mole of the electrolyte is taken. Okay. So what I can write here, for a weak electrolyte, the degree of dissociation is inversely proportional to the square root of its molar concentration and directly proportional to the square root of the volume, square root of the volume of solution if 1 mole of the electrolyte is taken. So this is called what? Ostwald's dilation law. Okay, alpha proportional to root over 1 by C and or alpha proportional to root over V. Okay. Now let us apply this concept of ionization into a weak acid and also into a weak base. Okay. Okay, so for a weak electrolyte, the degree of dissociation is inversely proportional to the square root of its molar concentration and directly proportional to the square root of the volume of solution if 1 mole of the electrolyte is taken. This is called what? Ostwald's direction law. And mathematically already we have proved alpha proportional to what? Root over 1 by c, or alpha proportional to what? Root over v. Okay, where c the molar concentration and v the volume of the electrolytic solution. Now your ionization of weak acid and weak base okay, let's see. Ionization of weak acid. Okay, suppose HA is the weak acid. Okay, so HA will give you what? The H plus A minus. Okay, it's a weak acid, and initially suppose we have C mole per liter of HA was there, it is 0, it is 0. And let alpha is the degree of dissociation. So at equilibrium, okay, at equilibrium we have what? C minus C alpha, C alpha, C alpha. That means alpha is the degree of dissociation, C the initial concentration. So at equilibrium alpha percentage will dissociate. So alpha of what? Alpha of the initial, that is your C. So C alpha will dissociate. So what will the remaining concentration? C minus C alpha. So when C alpha will of H will dissociate, then C alpha of H plus and C alpha of A minus will appear. Okay, so applying law of chemical equilibrium, applying law of chemical equilibrium. Okay, what you can say? K A is equal to H plus into A minus by H. Okay, or Ka is equal to H plus how much is there? C alpha there. A minus how much there? C alpha there by C into 1 minus alpha is equal to what? Alpha square C square by C into 1 minus alpha. So will cancel out, called alpha square C by 1 minus alpha. Okay, as HA is a weak acid, alpha is very small. Okay, therefore 1 minus alpha is equal to 1. Okay, so what you can write now? Ka equal to alpha square C. Therefore alpha equal to root over Ka by C. So the degree of dissociation of a weak acid is what? Square root of ionization constant by the concentration, or you can say the degree of dissociation inverse proportional to square root of its concentration, and your root alpha equal to root over Ka by C. And here also I can write your H plus equal to what? Your C alpha, H plus equal to what? C alpha. So what I can add? C into root over Ka by C, or equal to root C into root over Ka by root C. You can say what? Root over Ka into C. So H plus is equal to what? Root over Ka into C. Okay, now for two different acids, if I take two different acids, okay. So acid 1 by acid 2, okay, equal what your alpha 1 by alpha 2 equal what your root over K1 by K2. So you can see, you can compare the strength of the two acids also, okay. Acid 1 by acid 2 equal alpha 1 by alpha 2 equal root over K1 by K2, okay. In this way you can compare the strength of two acids, okay. Similarly also we can go for a ionization of a weak base, okay. Ionization of a weak base. Ionization of a weak base, okay. So now consider a weak base was BOH. If I take BOH, you can get what? B plus plus OH minus, okay. Now initially if I take C mole per liter and I have 0 and 0, okay. Let alpha is the degree of dissociation. So at equilibrium C minus C alpha, so C alpha, okay. Now applying law of chemical equilibrium, okay, we get what? Here Kb, ionization constant of the base, okay. So for each acid and base there is a fixed value of ionization constant at a particular concentration, okay, and at a given concentration more is the value of Ka, more is the strength of the acid. Similarly, so for a given concentration, if more is the value of Kb, then the more is the strength of the base, okay. So here Kb is what is the ionization constant for the base. So what I can add here? B plus into OH minus by BOH equal what? C alpha into C alpha by C into 1 minus alpha, okay. So we will get what here? Again same thing, alpha square C by 1 minus alpha, and as alpha is very small, okay. Alpha is very small, so 1 minus alpha equal what? 1 you can take, okay. Therefore Kb is equal to alpha square C, okay. So what I can add here then? Alpha is equal to root over Kb by C. Alpha equal what? Root over Kb by C, okay. So for two bases, you know, base 1 by base 2, base 1 by base 2 equal over, you know, alpha 1 by alpha 2 equal to root over Kb1 by Kb2. So to compare the strength of the two different kind of bases at a given concentration, so how you can say? You can take the value of Kb. More the value of Kb, more is the strength of the base, okay. So this is about what the Ostwald's dilution law, okay, strength of acids and bases, okay, and the ionization of electrolyte, strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte, okay. Now let us have some questions, some numericals basing on this Ostwald's dilution law, okay. So let us see 0.01 molar solution of monobasic acid dissociate into 10% calculate the Ka value. Okay, let's see. So what you can write here, 0.01 molar solution of monometric acid dissociated. So what you can say, concentration C is equal to 0.01. Okay, dissociate into 10%. So alpha is what, 10% equal to what, 0.1. Okay, now calculate the value of K. So Ka equal to how much? How do you know? We know Ka is equal to what, alpha square C. K is equal to what, alpha square C. We have, okay, we have K is equal to alpha square C. So this is equal to what, alpha how much? So 0.1 square, okay, into C how much? 0.01. Okay, so you can say 0.01 into 0.01 equal to what, 1 into 10 power of minus 4 is the answer. Okay. Number 2, the dissociation constant of a 0.05 m acetic acid, C equal to what, 0.05 m. Dissociation constant is given how much? 1.74 into 10 power minus 5. Okay, so alpha is what, 1.74 into 10 power minus 5. And calculate the value of alpha, the degree of dissociation. We can say what? Alpha equal to what? Root over K by C. We have what? Alpha equal to root over K by C. So equal to what? Root over, how much is K? 1.74 into 10 power minus 5 divided by C, how much is there? 0.05 is there. So if you calculate, you get what? 0.0186. Okay, so this is about what, Ostwald's dilation law and its applications. Okay, so in the next class we will discuss about the theories of acids and bases. Okay, thank you.